This is a video I'm doing on why modern warranties are useless, and I'll explain why. Okay, why are modern warranties useless? If you watch some of my previous emails, you'll see where I sent away a Kogan phone of my wife's, Margaret's, to get repaired. Okay, yesterday morning I got this email from Kogan. Hi, Jeff Gregg. This is part of an update to let you know that we've received your Kogan 8 for return number at whatever. Please allow 14 business days, 14 business, not 14 days, 14 business days for our experienced support team to process your return. Thank you for your patience. Kind regards, the Kogan team. Okay, so it's going to take another 14 days before, or possibly 14 days, it could be less than that, I suppose, before I get the phone back. Okay, so what do I do in the meantime? Well, luckily my wife Margaret we have an old phone, which is not very good, and it has all sorts of problems because it's an old phone and it can't do what you need. So we've had to resort to using an old phone. The trouble is with something like most modern technology, like phones, computers, cars for that matter, washing machines, television sets, all these modern devices, that basically you need them all the time. So as a consequence, people have usually got more than one. You've got more than one mobile phone, you've got more than one computer, you've got more than one of a whole lot of things, because you just basically have to have it. Because the warranty, you've got to send it back to them, right? And in the case of the Kogan phone, that took a week to get it back to them, all right? Then they're going to take another 2 weeks to do something on it. So it's going to be out for 3 weeks. Okay, so what's the alternative? Well, there's an old way of doing things. Years ago, I used to work for a company called Olivetti. I'll show you what I mean. This is this mob Olivetti here. That's what I used to sell when I worked for Olivetti. It was called an Olivetti A5 general ledger system. That was a programmable ledger machine. It used paper and things like that. By today's standards, it was antiquated. All right. One of the things though with it, when you got one of these things, you not only did you buy it, which by the way, that little machine there cost I think $12,000. Right, $12,000 that machine there. And had 2K of memory and all sorts of things like that. And if you wanted the one with a floppy disk drive, they were $18,000. All right, but when you took it out, they would give you a unlimited time warranty, an unlimited time warranty under one condition: that you took out a maintenance agreement. Okay, that's all very well. So what's a maintenance agreement? By the way, there's some more photos of the Olivetti. Okay, that's used to store information on medic stroke drive cards, and these are some of the programs that they were provided with it. Okay. So what's a maintenance agreement? All right. So let's have a look at what a maintenance agreement is. Okay. I'll quickly jump back to here and show you what a maintenance agreement is. So a maintenance agreement, you can take out maintenance agreements for all sorts of things. It's completely different to a warranty. What they do is an agreement between an organisation, an individual, or multiple organisations, whereby they agree to maintain the equipment to a certain standards. Okay, so that's really good. And Olivetti said, we will maintain it to a certain standard, all right, and within certain time constraints for a certain cost. And that was typically hundreds, if not thousands of dollars a month to take out a maintenance agreement. Okay, so what do maintenance agreements look like? They're convoluted, they're big, they're complicated, they go on pages and pages and pages and pages. And that's not just with hardware. You can also get what's called software maintenance agreements, or computer. There's general maintenance and there's computer maintenance, and then there's also software maintenance agreements. Once again, big and convoluted. All right. So, and the more important thing is they're expensive. And one of the things with maintenance agreements, though, is the fact that a lot of them are done, once again, returned to the person you need to get the maintenance. And that's a little bit of it useless if you're using the device all the time, all right? So the ideal maintenance is to have a on-site maintenance agreement. That is where the people come out and fix the item for you. Okay. However, I just thought a complication with on-site maintenance agreements. The complication is that modern devices are mobile. Okay, so what do you do about a mobile phone when your mobile phone packs in? You ring up and you have you taken out a maintenance agreement. You ring them up and say, "Oh, I'm in Africa. Come and fix my phone." Sorry, we don't go that far. Or I'm in Central Australia. Oh, the maintenance organisations in Brisbane. They don't go that far. So what do? One thing I did notice, though, there's this sort of mob, PTC, and you see them in a lot of the kiosks, a lot of the shopping centres and stuff like that do all sorts of maintenance on mobile phones. And I say they do it within an hour. I don't know how much they charge, though. It'd be interesting to know how much people charge. There's some reviews of people. Interesting, whenever you look at these things up, people never tell you how much these things are going to cost. All right? What about if you've got a computer at home and you want a maintenance agreement? There are organisations that you can ring up and they'll come to your place and they'll maintain it. Once again, I don't know how much it costs, but I'd imagine lots of money. All right, here's one here. Rightio, in-store maintenance, $77 per hour. All right, on-site residential maintenance, $88 an hour, or for businesses, right, $105 an hour. And that's pretty cheap. And that's assuming that they can fix the problem. All right. Okay. They might turn around and say it's a software problem. Okay. So that's the maintenance. So problem with maintenance is that there's the cost of it, cost of on-site maintenance. So how do you get beyond that? Quite often, the cost of the item can be less than the cost of on-site maintenance. So that's why people nowadays don't take out maintenance agreements, because it's not worthwhile. You can take out a maintenance agreement, so look like taking out an insurance policy, something like that. If the benefit of it is it costs you more than what it costs you to buy the item, so why take out a maintenance agreement? All right, so looked at that. The main problem is high labour costs are so high. So why are labour costs so high? All right, the reason labour costs are so high, according to this people, is a whole lot of reasons. All right. Have to pay employee wages. There's government regulations. There's supply and demand mismatch. There's a shortage of employees. All right, stuff like that. So that's not what the reason that labour costs are so high. The reason labour costs are so high is because of a lack of automation. All right, in my opinion. So we don't have automation. When you think of it, all the devices that we buy, they're manufactured in factories that are automated. Even though people say there's cheap labour, it's not. It doesn't matter how cheap the labour is. If you have to pay labour costs, that cost you money to manufacture something. If you've got a robot doing it for you, or it's completely automated with machinery and stuff like that, you do not have to pay people. You can get robots that'll run, or machinery or factory equipment, stuff that runs 24/7, 365, right? And it'll produce things, even though the capital cost is high. If you produce a large number of units, for example, you build a factory that builds cars, and that factory runs 24/7 and there's nobody in it, all right, you're not paying any labour costs. You don't have any union problems or anything like that. Automation is what makes things so inexpensive to buy, but also the lack of automation in servicing and repair is what making things so difficult to maintain. And therefore, as a consequence, it's not worthwhile maintaining a piece of equipment nowadays, or taking out a maintenance agreement on a piece of equipment. Okay. All right, so that leads me to the next section. It's not automated. Another thing that a lot of people talk about is add-on insurance or extended warranties. Have they had their days? I saw an article about this. I can't remember what the article is. They definitely had that. If the warranty is not worth it, what is a little bit useless. Extended warranties are even further useless. And one thing I discovered recently, we happened to be at a store that sells appliances, and someone had an extended warranty. They went and claimed, it was outside of ordinary warranty, they went and claimed on the extended warranty, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But when they did, they said, that's the end of the extended warranty. You're allowed one claim. So you have to take out another extended warranty. So therefore, is it worthwhile? Also, rather than extended warranty, there's also what's called a statutory warranty, and most extended warranties don't give you any more than what a statutory warranty does. So that's why I consider it's absolutely useless taking out modern warranties on equipment. That's why it's useless having modern warranties, because while it's being fixed under warranty, you don't have use of the equipment. Therefore, because you don't have use of the equipment, you have to have another piece of it. and therefore quite often it's worthwhile having multiple of the items. So people nowadays have multiple computers, multiple mobile phones. Don't have multiple washing machines. I suppose you can do without a washing machine for a while. Multiple TVs. If your TV breaks down, you usually got another one. Multiple radios. Multiple clocks, multiple air conditioning. Even in one house you don't have one air conditioner. You're better off having multiples of them. So that's why warranty is a little bit useless. Okay, you got any questions about that, ask me. Other than that, that's basically the end of this. So I will switch off the video. Send me an email if you want to know more. All right, okay. That's how I switch it off. That's how I switch it off there. Okay. All right, see you later. No more.